Same scenario. We have another citizens petition warrant article, which I will let the lead petitioner present. First, though, I will entertain a motion to open discussion.
So moved.
Thank you. Second from Councilor Paul. And Mr. Skudlarek, you again have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I wasn't expecting to do this one today, but my wife was ill, and this was her petition, so I'm going to follow through and make sure we get it done. So Article 28 is an article my wife, Robin, brought forward. She, for many years, has worked in the area of gun safety and the common sense gun measures, and so we're offering this as a way in which to try to push our legislatures forward on a specific type of legislation. So today in the U.S. there are between 400 and 500 million civilian-owned firearms in circulation. Roughly 1/3 of the U.S. Adults own a firearm, and another 10% have firearms in their household, according to Pew Research. Among 65 high-income countries and territories, not surprisingly, the U.S. stands out for its high level of gun violence. We stand alone as a country in our incidence of gun violence. In a 2024 study that looked at data from 36 Western nations, of which the U.S. makes up 33% of the combined population, it was found that the U.S. accounts for 76% of mass shooting deaths. More than 110 people per day are shot in the U.S., not including suicide. In 2024, an average of 2,300 Americans died by firearm suicide per month, or nearly 28,000 Americans. Also in 2024, firearms became the leading cause of death for Americans under the age of 18. Think about that for a minute. Firearms are the leading cause of death for Americans under the age of 18. If you give this depressing information to construct a backdrop to a persistent, pervasive problem that is unique to this country, I also give this information to garner support for a tool that has been proven to strengthen public safety in communities throughout the country. Emergency Risk Protection Orders, ERPOs, or red flag laws, as they've come to be known, are highly effective tools that allow local law enforcement, families, and household members to petition the district court for the temporary removal of firearms from individuals deemed a danger to themselves or others. As described in the petition, our state loses someone to suicide with a firearm every 3 days. This epidemic has been particularly hard-hitting on our veterans and young people. A red flag law, if implemented by our legislature, as they have been enacted in 22 other states, and most recently in Maine, gives families working with local law enforcement and courts the ability to temporarily remove a firearm from the possession of someone who may be an imminent threat to themselves or others in the community. Law enforcement professionals across the country support red flag laws as an important and effective tool to strengthen public safety while providing due process for the at-risk individuals. This warrant article calls on our eight Londonderry representatives to reassess their opposition to gun safety measures that will strengthen public safety. This article allows for Londonderry residents to show their support for common sense gun safety measures, specifically a red flag law, and the benefits it provides to our families and law enforcement professionals. I also ask that you vote yes on this article and send a clear message to our representatives. I'd like to note as well that Chief Bernard provided his support for red flag law, recognizing the law's value as an effective public safety tool for our community. Our legislators need to listen to our community and these, like the LPD, who are tasked with keeping us safe. So again, I ask for a yes vote on Article 28. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on Article 28? Yes, sir. Please approach the microphone.
Good afternoon, Patrick Alazim, 22 Summer Drive. I speak to you as an individual citizen on this one, not as a member of the Budget Committee. I just want to be clear about that on the record. Little personal context to why, after I saw this, I decided to read up on it a bit. I have two sons, both of whom are active duty military. One's a Marine, one's about to commission as a lieutenant in the United States Army. My son's a Marine Corps sergeant, and if you've been around or you were a Marine, you know that Marines are not the most touchy-feely of people, okay? As a bumper sticker on Camp Lejeune that I've seen a few times says, when you absolutely positively need it destroyed overnight, okay? That's our Marines. Now, why do I bring that up to you? It's because Marines aren't that touchy-feely, and Mr. Skudlarek actually mentioned the words due process in there. Here's the problem, among many, with this particular initiative and with these things from these organizations. This article has no provision for a defense against or consequences for false or politically motivated accusations. I know my son has ruffled people's feather. I don't want him, after he graduates from the Marine Corps and is a veteran like so many others who have been caught up in this system of these red flag laws, to be falsely accused. And these laws have no provision for due process, restricting the duration of orders. By the way, these orders can be permanent, and I'll give you a quick little stat. In the state of Florida, over a 7-year period, 99% of petitions filed were granted for permanent removal. 99%. There's no due process there whatsoever. And so I hate to see that gone. What does that mean for a veteran, or actually for anyone, when they're caught up by one of these that has no due process? Most of these state laws require a mandatory report of you once you're red flagged to the FBI's NICS, National Criminal Background Check System. It's mandatory, and it prevents you from any future firearm transactions. You are essentially guilty until proven innocent. And I'll just say on an emotional note, I am a naturalized citizen. There are millions of people like me who want to come to this country for the amazing constitutional excellence that we have. To have someone be guilty until proven innocent, just like civil asset forfeiture, is to me entirely inconsistent with who we are as a people and as a nation. And I'll tell you, that day when I got to take my oath of citizenship in Faneuil Hall, and we high-fived after that, we don't see people leaving this country. We see people coming here because of who we are and what we have. And so, yes, this is a very important issue for me. I don't want either one of my sons or anybody else to be red flagged by a false accusation by a neighbor who doesn't like them or their bumper stickers, and to have to go through the process and the expense and the time and the headache of clearing your name. For those of you who've never been through that or have researched it, you're taking on a federal agency, often with time limits on it. You're paying for the lawyers at your own expense, and these laws never contain any provisions to indemnify you or protect you against that burden. Now, switching a little bit here, New Hampshire has for years been found by the United States Department of Justice to either be the safest or second safest state in the nation. So to some extent, I would say this is a bit of a solution in search of a problem, okay? Moreover, as I'm sure Mr. Skudlarek knows, when you take some of those stats that were quoted and you do a little bit of cleansing and you remove, say, the top 10 municipalities from it, we actually, as a country, in terms of violence, land somewhere near the bottom decile of Western countries. Okay? So you can make data say anything you want, but you also should ask questions of the data. I really encourage you to think about I acknowledge the intent here. It's safety, right? And just like all those people that we voted for today, our first responders, our fire, our police, as somebody else said before, these are the people that run to danger while the rest of us run away from danger. Our Marines, our soldiers, our airmen, our sailors, these are people who put up their right hands voluntarily to run towards danger. When they come back out of their civilian life, is it really appropriate for us to greet them with, the second that someone accuses them, rather than giving them a chance to get over PTSD or to take that bumper sticker off, that we greet them with this? I'll leave you with my thought here. What Ben Franklin said, those who would give up essential liberty for temporary safety deserve neither. That's not who we are as a people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jonathan Esposito, 5 Shelley Drive. I want to thank Mr. Alazim for his remarks. I also want to offer some of my own. I'm a veteran of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm more than familiar with the issues that surround the veteran population, specifically concerning mental health and suicide prevention. However, I would point out that veterans at large as a population, in nearly every national study that has ever been conducted, are overwhelmingly against red flag laws. The Veterans of Foreign Wars, as well as the American Legion, which are two of the largest veteran service organizations in the country, both have position statements on behalf of veterans that we are against red flag laws. So I do particularly take exception when the petitioner or others use my population as a prop to support their misguided political views, and I would ask the citizens of Londonderry to vote against the citizens' petition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd just like to respond a little bit. I appreciate Mr. Alazim's comments. I do. This certainly was not a a measure that impacts specifically the veteran community in the sense that we're trying to take guns away from people. That isn't the effort here at all. There is a lot of due process in this legislation. To suggest that there isn't is just being disingenuous. There is. You can be subject to criminal prosecution if you falsely accuse someone of these types of scenarios. So I want to just kind of provide people with a little bit of personal context. I wasn't going to share this, but I'm going to do this now. About 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago, I had a close family member of mine, living in New Hampshire at the time, in Manchester, who we knew was distraught, we knew was depressed, we knew was in a bad situation. We also knew he had a gun. And that individual, we get a knock on our door one evening by the state police, came to the door to tell us that he had shot himself in the head. Immediately, obviously, we rushed to go figure out what was happening, rushed to the hospital. Still alive, he was, and still is to this day, miraculously. And he lives with this bullet in his head. Well, again, we knew he had a gun. We were fearful of that. And so many families in this country, so many people that have young kids, college kids for that matter, that are distraught, that have issues today with mental health. If we have a tool that allows us to petition the court to help that person and also get that firearm away from them for a period of time, is a tool that's effective. It's useful, and it's been used in 22 other states very successfully. And again, these are not permanent. These are temporary measures. There is due process, and it's an effective tool, and one that most police forces, most police you talk to, find to be an effective tool to use in the community. And I, again, would strongly recommend that people vote yes on this, and that our legislators take another look at this, because it's a measure that's needed. I thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any further comments?
Hello, everyone. My name is Barbara Finnemore, 4 Young Road in Londonderry. I just had 2 quick points. In the gun control debate, the gun safety debate for years, we've heard that it's the people, not the guns, that are the problem. And to me, this red flag law is designed to address that issue, that people who have mental health problems, who are at risk of suicide or of hurting other people, can be addressed, the guns can be temporarily taken away from them before they take some lives. So if you're concerned about guns in the hands of people who should not have them, that's what these red flag laws are about. Secondly, as a lawyer, I'd like to point out that the fact that the petition is going to a court is exactly what due process is about. So saying that there's no due process is flatly incorrect. And finally, I just wanted to say this issue, of course, is also, not of course, but it's also of great interest to me personally, because I was mugged with a gun to my head and narrowly escaped with my life by people who had mental health problems. So I urge you to allow the citizens of this town who voted for this or signed this citizens petition to allow it to come to a vote and see what they say. Thank you.
Thank you. Quickly, please.
2 quick points. It is entirely dependent on each state, as it writes this legislation, to decide whether it's temporary or permanent, and it is absolutely up to each state's legislation when they write these laws to determine what the process is. So none of the guarantees that you heard here are written there, and none of them are explicit. So I would just ask people to keep in mind that this, as written, is vague and general and includes no protections, only asks for removal. Thank you.
Thank you. See no further discussion. This ballot measure will go before the voters on March 10th as written.